Brooke Pryor, ESPN.
Hey, Randy. Thanks for doing this morning.
Good. Thanks. Hi, Brooke.
Just wondering, and with Ben coming back, what's kind of the plan for his, I know everybody's doing an acclimation process and a ramp up. What's the plan for him as far as figuring out reps and how much does it hurt to not have the preseason to kind of work him into some game situations before it's, live and the games count?
Well, we'll have to take advantage of those game situations that we can present for him out, against our defense. Naturally, the first thing is we got to kind of get a feel for where he's at. His body and his arm will tell us. It's not unusual for us to work a day, maybe work a half a day and give a day's rest. He knows that routine. This is a little different kind of routine. It's going to be a little different, obviously, type, kind of camp. I think we'll have to play that by ear, eventually how he feels and how much he wants, because there's times where he wants it all and we got to back him off, and that's a good thing.
Will Graves, Associated Press.
Hey, Randy, appreciate it. Just curious, kind of building off of that, I mean, how do you build chemistry with you got some new weapons at your disposal? How do you do that when you can't do the things that you're so used to doing at camp, or when you have that guys together for that amount of time? How do you do that?
Well, I think very carefully, but we're going to have to jump right into it and take advantage of every day we get to work with our players. What's nice is we're allowed to work with the young guys, and we've had some really positive days. I know it's a limited amount of time, and it's basically a walkthrough. It's still getting to know guys, getting to be able to evaluate, being able to see what they can handle mentally. I think we've tried to force and throw a lot at these guys. We'll do the same thing with the new guys that you may even be talking about between Ebron and some of the guys. So, we got to hit the ground running, and we got to see kind of how they fit. But keep in mind that the most important thing is, being able to find out as quick as you possibly can what they're comfortable with, what that comfort level is within the system, and how we can best use them.
Albie Oxenrider, WPXI.
Hi, Randy. How are you?
Good, Albie. How are you?
Doing fine. Thanks for the time. Is there anything that can happen that will make this a little more normal for you? I mean, I know there won't be contact for a while still, and there's so many restrictions with protocols and whatnot, and just the way the offseason went with the virtual offseason. Is there anything that could snap it into being a little bit more normal in your mind and in the mind of the coaches and players, in your opinion?
You know what? That might be the easiest question to ask, because normal now becomes Ben Roethlisberger back in the huddle. When he's paired up with Pouncey, Dave DeCastro, some of those cats up front, Al, that just gives you the normalcy. I happened to see James Conner walking through getting his test this morning. That's normal. That'll be normal. That's what we're used to. And at various times, obviously, with Ben not in there last year, we had others. So just getting back to normal will be looking at a group of mostly experienced players and excited about, what this journey, this season is going to bring.
Richie Walsh, KDKA.
Hey, Randy, how you doing?
How are you?
Okay, perfect. Have you seen, to follow up what you said earlier, have you seen Ben at all throw, whether it's video, virtually, in person? And where is he exactly, you think, right now?
Well, I did not get to see him in the off season. I caught glimpses of videos, like I'm sure everyone did, including him getting a haircut and that. But I did see him throw on video, and I have seen him now that the quarterbacks are allowed to be in the building. I have seen him physically and had some good conversations and some good talking of ball. I believe he is getting ready to maybe go out and throw. So it'll be exciting just to see that.
Going back to Jerry Dulac, Post-Gazette.
Randy, hi, I'm sorry if I missed you earlier. I stepped away for 1 second, and quite naturally, that's when they come to me. Hey,
Jerry, you're first, baby.
I know. You kind of touched on this. You have 3 new playmakers, if you will, on offense with Ebron and Claypool and even Anthony McFarland. And I know
Yes.
you haven't been on the field. Any preliminary plans, how you might like to use them? And will it be difficult to assimilate young guys into the offense with such limited time?
Well, I think that in general is going to be the question. What generally takes the young guy out of play early is between the ears, quite honestly. It's never really the talent. It's not the physicality. It's not that. They all belong. It's how comfortable and how quickly they can understand how to do what you ask them to do. I think one of the things you'd want to do, Jerry, would be, quickly as best possible, find out what they do well, what they understand, and then utilize that as much and as often as you can. So obviously, any young guy, the more you can do comes into play. These are 2 guys that have shown the ability to help football teams on special teams, and so that if that's the case, man, I mean, you're going to have these guys, whether they're ready offensively or not, the first game of the year, possibly available to you. And now you can use them and do the things that they do best, and maybe somewhat of a limited role. But I don't want to put that ceiling on any one of them, because quite frankly, just a couple of days we've worked with them, there's some signs of maturity, and that's what's exciting. Now, Ebron, I have not had an opportunity to really physically meet yet. I'll be excited to actually meet.
Randy, one further question, if I could, is there one thing that once you get on the field, you are most excited to see?
Yeah, I mean, it would be first Ben taking his first snap and executing a run or a pass and being excited about that, for sure. It would like to see the nucleus of the group that we in Pittsburgh know that have made plays in games. You know the names, you know the guys up front, you know the receivers and the running backs. Just to see them all together is going to be exciting. I tip my hat to the guys, because they know that there's a responsibility here that goes really deep, and it's about a lot of things, and I believe we're up to that challenge.
Dale Lawley, DK.
Randy, how you doing?
How are you?
Good. This will be the first time in about a decade that you won't also be the quarterback's coach. How
Yes.
different is that going to be for you? And I'm sure you're still going to have a hand in what the quarterbacks do, obviously. But what do you expect of Matt Canada to add to your offense?
Well, I think obviously expertise, just in years of coaching the quarterbacks, years of being around offensive football, years of being a play caller, experiences being a head coach. It's more knowledge in the room. It's one more opportunity to throw ideas around. Last year was a little unique, just in general. We started the process a couple years ago, in keeping continuity with Ben, and I would stay as the quarterback coach and coordinate. And I think it's a job it's a big job. I believe that it's a fun job. It keeps communication at a premium. But I also know that when it comes to ideas, when it comes to thoughts, and it comes to things that you can bring to the table every week, and what he can bring to the table that might be different than I would in that room, is going to be really fun to see and develop. And I'm really excited about it.
Jim Waxel, 24/7 Sports.
Hi, Randy.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. You guys drafted Claypool, and Mike was ecstatic about the physicality and what it's going to bring to your offense. And you've got a physical running back. You've got 2 tight ends now. They're physical. You've got James Washington, Juju, physical receivers. What are we looking at? What are you envisioning here?
Well, and I get a chance to actually speak, having seen him, met him, coached him, and have him in a couple walkthroughs, and then watch him from afar, from a conditioning standpoint, and listen to our conditioning coaches talk about that. I think this is a mature, strong, physical. I think he hit it on the head. The physicality is going to probably show early. I think it's going to lead to a lot of opportunities to help our football team early in a situation like this. Personally, I wouldn't want many young, just wide receivers and running back, skill position players, quarterbacks in a unique situation where you had no mini camp in the spring, no rookie mini camp in the spring, no OTAs. And we can count the 900 reps or whatever, so we lost. The idea that we're going to lose some reps and some scrimmages, I'm excited because I know he's physical. I know he can run. I know he can learn up to this point, and that's what's exciting about him. And I just see a bright eye. I see a guy that's committed to doing all the right things, and it couldn't come at a better time for us.
Jeff Alcorn, 93.7 fan.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for doing this. You had mentioned with Matt Canada and what he brings. How about with Ike Hilliard? What have those early interactions been, and what do you think he's adding to your staff?
Yeah, well, adding a lot of playing experience with coaching experience in the National Football League. That's a unique. It always kind of has been. I've been really pleased with the exposure I've been with Ike. We probably spent I don't know if it was a month, before Pennsylvania shut down. We spent an awful lot of time doing what you and I are doing right now, and it was really an awesome experience. He has a unique mind for the game. I think his personality is going to mesh with young guys. I think one of the things that's unique, we like to think we have young guys. If you look at the Washington roster last year of the youth that they played with and some of the things that those young guys did, very impressive. It was very impressive in the interview, and I'm ecstatic.
Joe Rudder, Trib.
Hi, Randy.
Hello.
Hi. And now that you've got Ebron and you'll get your first look at him and you have Vance, do you think you'll be able to use more two tight ends this year?
I think that it automatically puts yourself in that position. Now, again, availability is always the biggest issue when you play that really tough position. You got to play it somewhat like a race car, but you got to be able to be a Ford truck too. They play in a world that's very physical, and their availability will allow us to utilize two tight ends, if not more. And that would be awesome. And I always feel comfortable when we have two tight ends, dependable, that can equally be good in the pass and the run. And again, I like Eric. I like everything about him. Again, I haven't had a chance to meet him, but just the virtual and that type of thing has been really good.
Ed Bouchette, The Athletic.
Hello, Randy.
Hi, Ed.
Will you make concessions in your offense to the fact Ben had elbow surgery and that he's 38 years old?
I think you do just natural things. The very first thing I would tell our group is, okay, knock it up. Ben Roethlisberger's back, and everyone knocks on their desk, or else we clap. Then the second thing I'd say is, that doesn't excuse every man for doing their job and being great at what they do, because it's only going to be 11 of us that are going to get that done. Don't think that maybe I can take a deep breath and say, Ben's back. That's not the case, and that's not going to be the charge. I think anytime that you can be multiple enough to be able to be consistent running the ball, I think what Ben brings to the table that is so unique is the experience he has in the red zone, which we sorely missed last year. Obviously, with young quarterbacks, that can happen. But the idea where he's seen so many in-helmet perspectives, you're not going to fool him, and he's going to throw a touchdown that you're just going to say, wow, and that's what those experienced top flight, best quarterbacks in the league do. I do think that his abilities on third down are, you know, again, that's the experience. That's the thing that you just can't put, you know, a value on that he brings to the table.
Mike Pizzuta, DBE.
How's it going, Randy?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I don't know where you came up with that Ford truck idea, but my question's about the running game. Is that the main motivation to moving Filer inside? And is the road to running game improvement that the quarterback getting you in a better play or just better running back play, whether that be Connor staying healthy, Benny Snell taking a snap, McFarland being able to contribute, that kind of thing?
You know, it's always a combination of that. You know, it's and James knows that as well. I think as a group, and I said it before, your availability is going to be the key to a lot of the suggestions you're going to have on offense. And we have playmakers. We have guys that can do specific type of things. You know, I giggle because I saw James this morning from afar, and I walked away thinking, you know, he's a good positive 3 down back. He can catch the football. He can protect. He can run. Man, you just, and I'm rooting for him, and I root for us that his availability will be there. And we do have good competition in some other spots in there that are going to be fun to watch. You know, a little good mix between power runners, specialty type players, skillful, fast runners, waiting to infuse a young runner in Ant McFarland. Is going to be exciting. I think that, you know, as far as up front, you know, Matt has played inside, Matt's played outside. I think you look at the rest of the more experienced players that we've had that have played in games. You're looking at Chooks, you're looking at Zach Banner, guys that have played in professional football games. And to me, moving, you know, Matt back inside, kept the other two in position, familiar positions where they played before in games, is the right thing to do, especially now given the fact that we have lost all these reps and all this working all season.
Ray Fairweather, Gazette.
Yeah, hi, Randy. I just want to piggyback off the offensive line topic you were just discussing. So is it set in stone that Matt is going to stay at guard, or is there anything that could happen at tackle that would make you change your mind and you know, move him back at some point before the season?
Well, I think anything's possible for sure. I think you just would like to know, you know, if you want to give probably the best opportunity for us to move in this kind of time period. You know, given just the reps, I think it is the prudent thing to do. I think it's an awesome situation. We do have some competition at one position. Like I said, both guys have played. They've been played in football games, and to a degree have had equally success. They're exciting young players. I do know Matt is very intelligent. Matt is very physical. Matt had, in my opinion, a hell of a football season last year. He's going to be successful whether he's inside or out. And if he puts himself in a position that we feel comfortable maybe with one of those younger or experienced guards, you know, we got to play the best 5, and we got to figure it out quick enough.
Tim Benz, Trib.
I don't know. I don't know.
Trib, Tim Benz.
Randy, you got me?
Yes, Tim. How are you?
Randy, I wanted to follow up on what you had to say about, you know, guys knocking on the desk when Roethlisberger shows up, but at the same time driving home the message of just because he's back, you don't rest on your laurels, and, you know, he takes care of everything. Specifically for Connor and Juju, what did you talk to those two guys about in that context about, you know, getting better from last year, independent of injury that they had and Ben's lack of availability? What about those two guys specifically?
Yeah, I know for a fact, and I sat down with both of those guys before we all departed, and they departed for the off season, and quite frankly, they were both looked at me just as I looked at them. A lot of respect, realized that you know, the injury might have kept them from certain things, but the truth is they've got a lot to give. It's been out there before. They've seen it. They've done it. They've been there and done that, guys. Both of them have been in Pro Bowls. Both of them have outstanding years in the year priors. It can happen again, and it will. I think there's a lot of positivity right now. I think that they're committed to doing all the right things, and putting themselves in position to even be better this season. And like I said, I would, if I was Juju, if I was Deontay, if I was any skilled player on our offense, I wouldn't just say, wow, Ben Roethlisberger back, so man, I'm automatically better. No, that's not going to happen. That doesn't happen like that. He's going to make you better. But man, you're not winning if you're not trying personally to get better, and I know they are.
Aubrey Bruce, the Sentinel.
Hi, Randy. How you doing? You know, Coach, everyone's been concerned with Ben maybe re-injuring his elbow. But do you have a contingency plan in the event that Ben or any of your offensive starters contracts COVID-19?
Well, I think we like to sit around and think we're very prepared. This is a unique situation. The challenge I'm going to have with all of our staff offensively and our players offensively for sure is going to be, we're going to beat the virus as best we possibly can every day along the lines. And secondly, we're going to work towards beating the New York Giants. But the truth is, I don't know the answer to that question because so many things change. I do respect that whole process. We do have 5 quarterbacks here. And we got an opportunity to continue to work with guys and develop and see how the improvement goes amongst those other 4.
Alan Saunders, Pittsburgh Sports Now.
Hey, Randy, you got me?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, how much of what you were able to, you were trying to put in, if you think back to this time last year, that you were trying to change or update the offense that kind of got thrown out of the window when you lost Ben Roethlisberger, are you going to be able to get back into as you come into 2020?
Yeah, and I think, Ben and I have had conversations. He's been exposed to so many things, just even in the 14 years I've been here. I just, I can just see all the little different things we've done. And, some of the picking and choosing of past years and things that he's had success with that might fit the type of talent that we have with the protection schemes when we're throwing it, with the run schemes when we're running it. I think that Ben's he's a consummate professional, and he has been chomping at the bit to get back out and play. I just know he's put the work in. I know he put work in with our players and did a bunch of off-season work with them. I'm excited not just for him to be back on the grass, but I'm excited because I know that he can. There's a lot of things that he knows, and there's a lot of things that our players have done with him, and that's what gives you a great feeling about only having basically 14 true real practice days and whatever else we get. So we're going to make it work. If we got to trim it down, we're going to do the things and learn from the mistakes we made last year. Yes, maybe we had to alter things weekly to give us the best chance to win. I hope we'll be a little more consistent in our process this year. But I know that we'll do whatever is possible, given the players that we have for that week, to give us the best chance to score points and protect the football.
All right, guys, we have time for 2 more. Noah Strackben, the Maven.
Hey, Randy, thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you.
So you're talking about Chase and everything that excites you about him before you got to work with him, but what are your realistic expectations for the rookies with no preseason walking right into week 1?
Well, I mean, if to be fair, I would hate to put them in that situation, but I don't want to put a ceiling on him. He's too big, strong, and sharp. You never know. Development of all young guys sometimes takes time. I saw Juju when he first got here. I've seen Mike Wallace when he first got here, AB when he first got here, all the guys, Emmanuel. They all kind of mature at the right time. And when it happens for the good. And it happened with Deontay last year. I would have loved to not have to play Deontay as early as we even played him last year, because he's growing and developing. Great example. He missed the rookie mini camp, the hamstring, and then he missed most of the OTAs. There's a good case point right there. Yes, he was here in the physical meetings. Yes, he got to watch things. These guys don't get to even do that this spring. So, when you're really talking about where they can help you, again, I'm rooting that they can help us immediately right out of the box. But I'll be honest, I'm not counting on it. I don't think it would be prudent to do that. And but I do know at some point through this journey, and probably early, just given the fact that in what I've seen just a couple of days and his look in his eye and his intelligence level, be reason to think it might happen earlier than later.
All right, last question we have time for today is Hugh Rayer, 96.7.
Hello?
Hear me, Randy?
Yes, I can.
Nice to talk to you. I want to come back to the quarterback position here at the end of this. Okay. Obviously, the pecking order for number 1 and number 2 is set. I want to ask you about Paxton Lynch. We don't know much about him. You probably know a lot more than we do. Are you going to give him an honest opportunity to compete for the number 3 position? And piggybacking on that, will you consider, especially with an expanded practice squad, to perhaps keep a 4th quarterback, especially with the COVID-19 virus hovering?
Well, I think that's a unique question in itself. I'll answer that one first because, a 4th quarterback at some point, given the circumstance, if you feel very comfortable, if Kevin and Art and Mike T feel comfortable in that, and there's a way to fit a guy somehow, some way, obviously that's great for a great feeling for me. It'd be a great feeling for Coach Canada. But yes, I don't know about that bridge yet. I know that, yes, there's going to be open competition. Yes, I'm excited about Paxton Lynch, and yes, I do know Paxton. I was at his pro day. I watched him play a lot. Was given the time that even my son was playing baseball at Memphis, and I followed Memphis all the time. So I've known and followed his career. I'm excited about his new opportunity for him, and he's as exciting a guy to me to see where he can go. Unfortunately, we missed those opportunities in the spring, and he's going to have to make it go quick, and I think he will.